What is up, everybody? This is Recruiting is No Joke Live. We're here at the Fountain booth at Unleash. Super excited to be here. I think we got 8 interviews today. But
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
This will be the best.
No pressure on me.
No pressure. So I've got Summer Delaney from CollabWORK. Great to have you here. Why don't you give a quick intro on CollabWORK so we know what you're up to.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me. So great to be here at beautiful Unleash. So CollabWORK is what we call the first community-powered hiring platform.
Okay.
So what does that mean? We connect companies to the hidden job market of niche newsletters.
LinkedIn's getting mad already.
I love LinkedIn. It's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. But a lot of great candidates are not on LinkedIn. They're not on job boards.
Yeah.
They're not responding to cold inbound from recruiters, whether that's a real person or AI, right? There's a lot of mistrust there. And so what we're trying to do is, what if we could actually connect to that hidden job market of where candidates actually are networking and upskilling and discovering opportunities? So niche newsletters, Facebook groups, Slack communities, really these pockets of the internet where the best people are networking, upskilling, and most importantly, discovering opportunities from sources they trust. We have data that people are 89% more likely to click on a job if it comes from a community, if they're reading the Morning Brew every day, if they're checking a Slack group in their industry, right? These are pockets of the internet they're spending their time in. They have trust for the jobs there, and we're curating those opportunities for niche candidate pools.
So I think we talked about this before, like community, that's a hype word, right? I have a community. Yeah, I got a couple of communities, but everyone's talking about community, so.
And I think there's a good distinction between community and audience, right? Those can be different things. Generally, an audience is, your listeners, I'm sure, in some ways, you have an audience of people that are listening to you.
Hi, audience.
But in other ways, you have a community, and those are kind of multi-way conversations where you're engaging with people, where they're adding value. And so really striking the balance of how do you reach talent audiences, but also how do you become part of communities, part of routines and rituals people have to really make long-standing impact.
So you work with lots of communities, lots of newsletters. What makes a great community? What drives that trust? Is it how long they've been around? Is it their niche? Like what makes them successful?
Communities can come in all shapes and sizes. On our platform, we have over 80 plus communities. We have them as broad as, we kind of define our communities in a couple different ways. First is the industry type. So maybe it's serial marketers or marketing community. Maybe it's the finance alliance for financial professionals. Maybe
stay away from that one.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
They're self-selective.
I love finance.
Yeah.
So.
Otherwise, we also do industry. So we have a community called Women in Climate Tech. We have communities focused on healthcare, on retail, on, as niche as startups. And then also the job type. There's a lot of different types of jobs. It's internships, executives, but also there's a huge growing movement of fractional and part-time employees. So communities can gather in all different shapes and sizes. I think what makes communities really strong is when they do have those rituals and routines that people are frequently touching base. It's, when you have a Slack community, just like your corporate Slack, there's 750,000 Slack communities.
I know, well, yeah.
And
then what about Discord? How many are in Discord?
19 million active weekly Discord servers.
Oh, wow.
So there's this huge pocket of the internet, and almost 2 billion people still go on Facebook groups each month. So there's these huge groups of where, instead of, associations, which haven't necessarily evolved a lot with the times, these are new professional networks that are started by individuals or groups of individuals that generally have a common purpose. About 50% of our partners have an affinity focus. So a lot of times they are underrepresented talent who want a safe space to share salary tips, to talk about struggles at work, to talk about unique individual underrepresented issues that might come up in the workplace. And those communities, I think, tend to be really strong when you have a really clear identity about why people have joined them. And then it becomes people from being just passive viewers to actually participants in the community and being part of that.
Yeah, I love that. What about, because I'm seeing now online, right? Because you mentioned so many of these online communities.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing, I think, a lot more communities popping up where it's like smaller in-person groups. And I think like Talent Collective, they're great.
Yeah.
Like,
we did a big event with them in New York last month, which was really exciting.
I saw the pictures. I'm like, why am I not there? Are you going to the Chicago event?
I'll have to check my calendar. It's a busy couple months. I've been on the conference circuit. I'm like, which conference are we at now?
No, well, look, if you get to Chicago, definitely go to that one. Going to be moderating there. But what I love what they're doing is combining online and in person. So on the back end, then you got like a job board on the back end, and I guess how did you even come up with this idea?
Yeah, so I did not come from the HR tech space. Shocker, here I am at an HR tech conference.
What did you do?
So I was in media. I was a journalist for over a decade.
Right.
So started my career as Katie Couric's producer. I'm very comfortable in a podcast seat. This is my background.
We're gonna have heat lights coming.
I know. I'm like, where's my ring light? So was Katie Couric's producer during the 2016 election, which could be a whole other interview. Was then on air at Channel 11 in New York, WPIX TV, the CW affiliate, where I helped launch their digital video strategies. And really, local news is the backbone of so many communities again. But how do we reach new audiences? How do we not just put the 5 o'clock news on Facebook Live or on YouTube? And how does it look different? So that was really my job. Was at CNN for a while.
You built up some big audience on social, right?
Build up a big audience on social, but all those companies, Yahoo, Katie Couric, CNN, Channel 11, I didn't get any of those jobs applying online, right? They were always, my network was my net worth.
Yeah.
It was a Google listserv, for women in journalism, led me to Katie Couric. A Facebook group for women in media, led me to Channel 11. A Slack message at Columbia Business School where I got my MBA, got the Amazon job. And so I saw that I've always loved people's career journeys and hiring. I think it's the most impactful thing you can do to help people find really meaningful work. But I saw that I really, at the individual hiring manager level, a lot of those connections were happening, right? If you're a CMO at a company, you know the best marketing Slacks or Facebook groups. To post, I'm looking for a rock star B2B marketer on my team. Who do you know? But really, the company-wide and the TA teams didn't have that access to those individual partner channels that are super valuable. And what really the mission of CollabWORK is A, to connect employers to that hidden job market, and B, also help candidates actually find opportunities on those sources they trust, and thirdly, help community leaders who, the Talent Collective is a great example. It is a group that has a circle, which is another platform where communities are networking, and they do in-person events. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so in addition to membership, how can we compensate people from this curation that they are doing? And so, what we do is when companies pay us, we're splitting our profits with our community partners. So they have new revenue streams that they can reinvest in all those great communities you're a part of, in staffing, in events, in different unique programs to make those communities more vibrant. Because if they don't exist, then we don't exist.
What's obviously not being from HR and recruitment, any pushback from the client side? Their thoughts?
I've been really lucky to be really embraced by the HR tech community. You welcome it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I made it big. I'm on this podcast.
Yeah,
this is the place to be.
Come on.
Yes.
Fountain.
And actually, Hope, I got to give Hope credit at Fountain. Our first conference was HR Tech. And I didn't know anyone in the room. I was super nervous. I was a startup. I didn't come from this space. And we were right next to the Fountain booth at HR Tech. And Hope immediately saw what we were doing. And she has been such an advocate for us. And really just having a great company like Fountain believe in what you're doing and see the value. And we integrate with over 40 ATSs, including Fountain, really gave us the confidence to continue to go out there. And we actually won HR Tech's Pitch Fest for the best use of AI out of 100 debuting startups.
I love that.
And that was really our coming out party. Right after that, I realized people really resonated with the solution. And actually, it was interesting as a startup, your solutions change. And what people really resonated with was that we were a marketing channel, that we were a way to actually hyper-target these candidates and these talent pools. We're not the job boards. We don't consider ourselves a job board. We're a distribution play. We work with the ATS integrations to get your jobs, use AI to analyze them and decide what Slack, Facebook, newsletters, et cetera, we should be in, and then promote them organically on a space people trust.
Well, that's it, though. It's a trust. And this is where you mentioned it before. There's so many emails, so many messages. We're getting hit up so much. And I've seen this in my own inbox. Only people I respond to are people that I know and I trust. And I think it's trust and attention. Those are the two big things of the day. And it's the same with job seekers. We're on the street asking just regular people, how much does employer brand and reputation impact?
Yeah.
And they're it does. But if it's coming from a trusted source, it's huge. So it's almost like influence. But
and I forget if I touched this on the top of the conversation, but we've done a study that 89% of people are more likely to click on a job if it comes from a community referral than a cold inbound, right? It's because Morning Brew is one of our partners. We curate opportunities for the HR brew, the retail brew, the healthcare brew, 7 other brands, in addition to our 80 other partners. Readers read the Morning Brew every day. Readers or community members go to their professional Slack groups. They feel like they're their coworkers, right? And they have their company Slack, and then they have all these external communities. And it's part of people's routines. They trust the people. They trust the referrals that come in there. And so It's a great way. I think what makes our platform really successful is why we are a programmatic player. Our jobs do not feel like ads. They are very authentic. And all the communities opt into getting the jobs we're distributing. So there's a mutual matching. Companies can't tell us, I want my job in these 5 communities. No, do those communities opt to have those jobs? You might say you want a community, but actually might not resonate with who you're trying to reach.
They're vetting the jobs then that are coming in there.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so it's, we really want to make sure that we are value add, that we are doing curation as a service, helping members get job and helping those communities make money and feel very authentic doing it.
I love that. I think it's really funny. I work with a couple companies that do the auto apply technology, and it's become a numbers game, right? And I think the way that I advise people is to find those communities.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what do you find better conversion, newsletter or community?
So we're seeing globally across our partners an up to 30% click to apply rate. Okay. And 80% of our job postings yield to interviews. Okay. So, in this market, it's interesting. I feel like it's a tale of two hiring markets. Some companies are like, I am inundated with, I put a job up on LinkedIn, I get 2,000 applications in an hour. I'm closing the job.
Yeah.
Other companies say, I can't get enough people. Like, I am desperate to find people. And our solution really works for both of those players, right? Because for the people that are inundated with too many applicants, we're at a big conference where AI is a very big present. We use AI to help with the filtering, but there's a lot of AI compliance laws that are coming to the market. And so a lot of tools actually are really hard to filter those 2,000 resumes, especially if you're a small company, to the right people. So you end up interviewing the first 10, hoping one works, and they get the job. What we can do is say, okay, we are not advertising your job just on random social media. We are doing it to those closed garden spaces where there's generally a verification process happening. Most of these communities you have to apply to join or refer to join or pay to join. Or if you're a newsletter, which we're seeing really high conversion rates, it's been interesting because those people, there's all the studies that if you're investing in your professional development, you are more likely to be promoted. You are more likely to stay at your job for over 2 years. These people are curious. They're spending time out of their own day to invest in themselves. Yeah, and those are the kind of employees you want. But to your other question, I say that while our platform really for this audience, right, a lot of, recruiters and hiring managers who are looking to reach this talent, we're a great tool. For candidates, what we also really encourage is we have a huge feature on our app called Community Connect. And it's all of our community partners, the ones that want to be publicly disclosed, right? Some of them are referral-based communities and they don't want that. But for the ones that opt in, and it's a directory of you can look up communities based on that industry or that function or where you're based to find jobs. And so hopefully you get a job through CollabWORK. Hopefully you see one of our opportunities. But if not, we want to tell you there is a huge hidden job market of hiring managers that are posting jobs that don't even ever live on an ATS. Yeah. Right? You might be in the job channel of a Slack community, have a job saying, I'm looking for a rockstar PM. I'm looking for a junior hungry legal associate. And those jobs, you can actually directly connect to the hiring manager. You have that warm intro of the community, and it's a great way to expand your network no matter where you're based.
Yeah, when I guess a lot of those people, though, they're not necessarily going in either, like looking for a job, right? So it's like you're catching people at that time where, hey, I'm reading a newsletter, something catches my eye, now I'm interested. So, which I think is huge as well.
It's that passive candidates, right? That
passive candidate.
Which again is a good word in the HR industry. When I talk to investors, they're like, that doesn't sound like a good word, passive. I'm like, no, that's what everyone wants, right? Those people that are actively employed who, again, are open to an opportunity. Because if it comes from that source that they are reading every day, they're putting weight behind that recommendation and they're much more likely to apply.
I always tell people too, it's when you have the job, that's when you're building up the network. Yeah. And just thinking strategically. And I think what can be really easy is you just get in your job, you're in the day-to-day, and you're not investing. That's why I'm big on personal branding. You can do it while you have a job. You're building that brand, and the more people that know you, the more of a network you have.
Yeah.
Conversations, right?
I saw a tweet recently that was saying that, especially in this hiring market, the people that are winning are the people that invested in their personal brand. The people that you might roll your eyes, but are posting on LinkedIn and putting themselves out there and having spicy takes, right? And building connections and going to conferences like this and actually trying to expand that Rolodex. And I think that, people are like, those are the people that are paying dividends right now. Those are the people that spent years doing this and now they're desirable. And the people that didn't invest in their personal brand, look at you, you're behind. And I think while that's true, I do think if you do not have a big personal brand, there is ways that you can actually expand your network, and those are joining really intentional communities. Yeah. Participating, adding value, right? You're not just
give advice, you join the community, you're a little bit more, not necessarily wanting to meet people, or maybe that it's nervous. Like, what's your advice?
And also some people, it's, you and I are both extroverts, clearly.
Yeah.
But some people, it's really hard to a conference like Unleashed with 5,000 plus people can be really intimidating for folks, right? To go up to people at the coffee bar and say hi. It's a lot more comfortable.
Especially with salespeople.
Yeah. Well, not about these salespeople. But, there's ways one of my suggestions is go on Community Connect, app.collaborate.com/community list. Or
put the links.
Put the links. Or just, ask around to your network about, what communities are people in that you admire. And, you can join these Slacks and Discords and Facebook groups. You can read these email listservs and you can actually start engaging with people. A lot of them have, I think communities evolving now to memberships. A great community is not just a Slack channel. It's the Talent Collective is a perfect example. It's a digital platform, meets physical events, meets webinars, meets other opportunities for you to make really authentic connections because people that are there to learn and to network. And so I think the key is don't be a lurker. When you join these communities, if you see a question, give your time, give your insight. Everyone has perspective, no matter how junior you are, and really start becoming that person that people want to go to. And you can build it that way in kind of these safe spaces.
Yeah, I love it. We're running out of time. First of all, I want to thank you for the In-N-Out last night.
Oh, yes.
The In-N-Out girl, right?
There are worse reputations to be known by as the In-N-Out burger girl, but also know me from CollabWORK, my great community-powered hiring platform. But yes, this was our second In-N-Out burger night. We did it first at TA Week. And, the thesis was we were in San Diego. Everyone goes to California. One of the things you do, you want an In-N-Out burger. And here at Caesars Forum, there's an In-N-Out right around the corner. And we thought it'd be great to bring it back. So we had about 40 people. So I'm so glad you got to join. What did you order?
I got double.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. It was, I think, it's the first one on the list. But yeah, no, it was great. And I think even that, it's like going somewhere and giving, right? And giving value. And I think I talk to people about this all the time. If you're on LinkedIn, don't be just lurking, right? I had this conversations, comment. People really undervalue that commenting, that connecting. And then you meet people in real life. And I think that's what we're going to see now is more digital in real life and it all just connecting together.
And I think you bring up a good point. Comments are a great way to expand your network, right? If you feel like, I don't know what I have to say, so I'm not a great writer, or, I don't have a spicy perspective, follow people you admire and join the conversation. There's a great way, people probably have similar opinions than you, and it's a great way to engage, just to get started.
Yeah, even in communities the same way. Right?
Totally, threads, get active. I think that's the number one thing. It's there's always this expression, you only get out what you put in. That's the thing with communities. Be an active participant. Don't just come to get value, but actually add value.
Awesome. So where can people connect with you?
Yes.
What's the best place?
So I would love to connect with folk. CollabWORK's website is www.collabwork.com. Or, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Summer Delaney, summer like the season, pretty memorable, although I do respond to winter, autumn, and spring. But would love to connect. We're on LinkedIn, Twitter, and other platforms, and would love to have people join our community. And
how big is your community?
We have thousands of members. We worked with over 50 plus businesses and distribution partners and have 80 plus professional communities in our network and reach over 2.5 million candidate profiles. So there's a place for everyone on the internet. And we hope to find those connections.
All right. Well, Summer, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, guys.